Here's another story right here that just kind of popped up on my feed, and I opened up my internet browser. Now, when I saw the title, I immediately thought of a story that I talked about last year involving someone involved with this particular show. I'm not sure if it's the show or if it's something else, but I do know it's on Netflix, and I think they're the same thing. But we'll get into that. But these two men right here's names are Mitchell Ryan and Robert Joseph Sienna. And they are basically two cheerleaders, you heard that correctly, who was on this show called Cheer. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you remember last year, it was a black cheerleader who was on that show or that docu-series on Netflix called Cheer, where he was involved with messing with minors. Fast forward to now, and you have these two guys right here who are involved with the same show or the same docu-series for Netflix, who are engaged in the same thing. Now, what children they messed with, I'm not sure. At least with the other one, we already know who he messed with, but I'm not sure about these two, but we about to find out. The two men who appeared in the Netflix docuseries Cheer have been arrested and charged in separate crime cases involving minors, authorities said. The arrest on Wednesday of Mitchell Ryan and Robert Joseph Sienna came nearly 5 months after federal prosecutors in Chicago accused Cheer star Jerry Harris, that's what I thought, I just knew it had to be him, of enticing an underage boy to produce sexually explicit videos and photos of himself. He was later indicted on additional charges. The Cheer docuseries follows the cheerleading squad from Navarro College in Corisana, Texas. I'm sure someone who lives in Texas can correct me on that if they're familiar with that location. The series debuted on Netflix in January 2020. Ryan, age 23, was arrested by police in Coppell, Texas, on a charge of aggravated sexual assault of a child on July 24th, according to Dallas County Sheriff's Department records. Details of the case were not immediately available. CNN has reached out to police and prosecutors for additional information. Ryan was booked on Thursday and released early the next morning on a $50,000 bond. Mitch and his family were surprised by this arrest, Ryan's attorney, Jeremy Rosenthal, told CNN Saturday. There are two sides to every story, and we are confident Mitch's name will be cleared. Ryan was a member of the Navarro College squad featured in Cheer, but is not on the current roster. Well, that will raise some flags. Sienna, a two-time world champion cheerleader, was arrested in Virginia after soliciting sex from a juvenile online through a social media platform, according to Chesterfield County Police. Sienna, age 25, is charged with taking indecent liberties with a child and using an electronic communication device to solicit sex, police said. He arranged to meet a juvenile whom he came to know through social media for sex, police said in a statement. He was being held in the Chesterfield County Jail without bond, police said. CNN has reached out to Sienna for comment. It was unclear if he has an attorney. Well, it seems to me like that guy's just straight up guilty, just based on that. Chesterfield County Police are still investigating and asked anyone with information to contact them. Sienna's website said he's a National Cheerleaders Association champion, majors champion, and a two-time world champion who has cheered for numerous programs in the U.S. and traveled to more than 13 countries coaching and choreographing routines. Sienna appeared in one episode of Cheer where he posed for a late-night photo shoot with another famous cheerleader, Gaby Butler. In December, Harris was indicted on new federal charges of allegedly enticing minors to engage in sexual activity, including soliciting them to send him explicit photos or videos of themselves, according to court documents. A lawsuit filed by two accusers in September alleged that Harris exploited his popularity and position of fame with young male cheer athletes, and that he often attempted to make them meet Harris in secluded locations at various competitions, soliciting sexual conduct with these boys. A spokesperson for Harris said in September, "We categorically dispute the claims made against Jerry Harris, which are alleged to have occurred when he was a teenager." A Netflix spokesperson in a statement after the lawsuit was filed said, "Like everyone, we are shocked by this news. Any abuse of minors is a terrible crime, and we respect the legal process." Now, the last part that I just read was about the Jerry Harris guy who I talked about last year. Are y'all noticing a pattern here? That it seems like a lot of these male cheerleaders who are these coaches or the ones who are choreographing routines are messing with these kids. That's why a lot of people don't like when people get into spaces that are usually dominated by another person. Not saying that the women can't engage in this kind of activity, but a lot of the times when it comes to these stories right here, we keep hearing that the guys are doing it and things of that nature. Now, we don't know, because they didn't specify, if these were girls or if these were other boys that they messed with, but they just said that they were minors. Now, this one, I think it might be this one right here. I think it's this one right here was the one that they got in Virginia. The one who was soliciting a minor for sex and everything like that. And I think this is the one that they didn't have that much information on, but they're just a little bit. But either way, a little or a lot is sick. But the fact that the real elephant in the room is the fact that this is the second and now third person from that one docuseries that has had sexual misconduct allegations brought up against them. Now, I've never watched this show or this docuseries. I've never watched it. People said that they've heard of it and whatnot. I've never watched it. Don't plan on watching it. But if a fourth one comes up, then it's an issue. Then that means that people who work for that company or whoever is behind that is not investigating, or what they're not doing I guess you could say a litmus test on who they allow to be around these kids. And that would be very reckless of them not to do so, considering your reputation is at stake. You shouldn't just hire any and everybody to be around children. It doesn't matter how many championships they won, or how good of a flip they can do, or how well they can choreograph a routine. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you still should be looking out for the safety and well-being of these kids. And these parents have to be extra careful about who they send to be around these adults. Not everyone should be trusted. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video on that note. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video.